Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
I don't want to take Tamale Mirundi off this scope because he's not seated and he's not working alone. The protection he's getting is really not him alone. It crosses the boundaries.
Yeah, you are very right. That one I know. And you are really very right. But I think first things first, we are looking at taking our targets, ourselves off the targets of the prosecutor. That is what I think.
Well, you are very right. You are very right, really. But you see, in your submission, you said that when you look at what exactly the prosecutor is basing on, there is still a lot of vagueness in the evidence. And if we are talking about Tamale is reinforcing the prosecutor's evidence, so to pin us better. That is what I'm looking at. Those are the reasons I'm trying to use, sir. And it is really what I think should make a lot of sense if we are going to fight this battle.
Well, I think you are very right on that. But sometimes the technicalities are also very important to think about. The first thing is there are certain things we should really respect. Currently, Tamale Mirundi is not operating alone, and at least our investigators have revealed so much. When you see Baramu around, you know the team he works with. There are so many other people he works with. And of course, that also means the blessing of the principal. So, what do we have to do about the Tamale? Let's first of all ignore him. We get to know exactly what where the prosecutor's vagueness arises. Then we concentrate on that. But among other things, that simply requires money. And the killing of any possible evidences that could be anywhere.
Well, I support you on that.
Yes, that is what I'm also talking about. So we should think bigger, and think better.
All right. So, can I suggest something?
Please do, because we don't have to remain entrapped in the whole thing.
So, there was some kind of idea. I think I know a gentleman like Bargahare. Bargahare is a person you can basically talk to. And he understands most of his options are either about political dominance and the money. So if there is a conversation you can think about and it's all about money, I think you can put his attention. So can't we really use a person like him to see that we can compromise the attitude of Tamale and put it at least to become either docile? Because so far, what I believe, the final conclusion is that Tamale can never be our friend. That one is clear. But can't we really try to calm him down and cool him off so he can think about also doing some investment elsewhere?
Well, that would be a good one. But they already failed the attempts, and we have really tried those tactics long time ago. But even when he gets to know, because there are certain things we discussed and you wake up and you hear recorded tape on the radio or on the YouTube channel. But this guy, he never changes. So currently, Tamale Mirundi actually is blaming us that we have been dangling money as a method to build a bait so we can have him surrender his steps and all that. That has been the normal talk he says of the things.
But what I'm looking at really is we never dangled the money. If he was a person very straightforward to tell you that if you give me money, I give up the option. innocent person would get that money and hand it over. But a person who is waiting for your money and the same person is waiting to hammer you even harder, how can you think about giving them the money? So that is where the challenge came from. So you can no longer talk about the money until the money says, at least to send an emissary to people like, there are several people. Tamale could talk to, and like he would say, that you see, if you give me the money, I will destroy this. But the man who says that you give me the money, but I will not destroy anything, I'll keep my pace. It can only take an insane person to listen to such a thing and actually do it. So that is where my whole problem arose. And that is it. Actually, you are really very right. Any insane person would think that, you see, a man who does not come out straight to tell you that I will never do this until you have done this is a complicated person. Or a person who does not put clear boundaries to a deal. That is a no deal already. And it is it has been happening really. But, and I think that could be Mr. Tamale's shortfall. If he does not identify his position, then it becomes a no deal actually. I would personally.
So that is where we are. So currently speaking, we failed to have a middle ground. We failed to have a middle ground. So we looked north, south, east and west, and we failed to get a middle ground. I know he's out there complaining and has been sending so many messages to Sam, trying to tell him how we are playing him, how we are doing that. But he's the one playing us actually. He played us for too long. He wants somebody to invest even if it were 10 million shillings. You can't say that you give me that because I'm annoyed. Then after I take that money, I keep my anger. But I will never forgive you. Then what is the reason to give you the 10 million in the first place? Keep your anger, keep your vendetta, and then leave me with the money. I do whatever I want to do with it. As long as your words are not going to kill me, I can use that same money to liberate myself in another way. So that is the whole thing. So simply, I believe Tamale simply failed to clearly identify his zone of operation. No, you cannot have your cake and eat it. You should have to think of a better way out. But it really didn't work out, and whatever blame is casting on us, it should be his problem. His problem right there. So for us, what I'm looking at is how we are going to wrestle and fight for anyone. I know some of you are very worried, but let me tell you, through challenges we become brave. Through bravery we make heroes. I believe everything is humanly. It is the human is in charge of this, and it is the human beings involved. And the way a human being is, we have a common interest, and that is life. And what makes life and makes sense these days is money. But it is all about how you package it and deliver it. So, we can win in this case. I know according to what Tamale normally says, he has other options to lead his life. It is okay. We can let him do his work. We respect it. Even the president respects him for that. But that super arrogance, and yet is the same person who is casting the arrogance on our side. It will not work. It will not work. We shall always resort to other ways. There is no way to give you better welfare when you are not saying you're going to lay down your weapons. No, there is no way. If you say we are sworn enemies and we are fighting, and then you want me to give you more power, in terms of weapons, but you are not telling me that we are going to become allies or that we are not going to sign a pact of non-interference. Then what good is it for me to give you the power? And no rational person would see it. Not so really.
Not true. What you're saying is very right. It is where the whole shortfall comes from.
That is it. So
Now, really, for me, when you look at the whole summary, it is a complex game. But the most important thing is how we are going to get out of this. When you look at the whole squabble, it is a squid actually, if I should term it. But in the case we remain focused people, we can overcome this. The moment we are willing to raise the funds, we can overcome this. You see, Tamale Mirundi is a very great obstacle, but we can circumnavigate his obstruction. It may take us longer, it may be hard journey, but we can still take it. Because at the peak of everything, even a volcano has a limit. It can be as disastrous as the word disastrous is, but it cannot annihilate everything. Some things persevere. At the same time, it also preserves the DNA of certain creatures that can really be retrieved even after a billion years. So whatever Tamale is doing is okay. Let him go on. Let him go on and do it. But me, I'm in total disagreement. I disagree totally that he thinks that we could deliver the money to him. At the same time, he remains with the strength to attack us at will. Really, it is insanity. That is what I would call it.
Also, that is why I disagree with him. So whatever perception he got out of it, I'm sorry. But I was so much unwilling to continue with such a thing.
And you were really very right. If he created actually a clear line that we are not going to cross this line, compensate me for the ills I've gone through, and then we live as gentlemen, that there is never going to be any attack, any assault, with clear indication, with a clear pact. That would make a lot of sense. But you simply cannot tell somebody to lay down millions of money just for just. So simply somebody walks away and says, yes, it was done. And that is all.
That is the thing I also disagreed with.
It is really not there. It is a total illusion. Total illusion. That I come and give you the guns you want. I empower you when we have been enemies and we have not signed a pact that after powering you, we either become allies or we never interfere with each other. That would make a lot of sense.
That is the sense I was also looking at. So he's busy complaining that we are dangling money, but he was dangling himself. That is what I'm looking at.
Exactly, he was the same person dangling himself. He never allowed a breathing spot, a breathing space for everyone. That yes, what if we meet and we organize this amount of money and you take it? Am I safe? Because I also want you to take your money and be safe, be happy. Start up an empire. But how do you expect me to give you to start an empire? Only to buy cannons, to keep bombing my land, to keep destroying my crops, to keep destroying my reputation. No, that one cannot work. And it really never worked. So whatever the case is, let him go bare knuckles. We shall always wait. At the end of it, there shall be a limit, beyond which we will never go. Because even a reader, the greatest reader, has a limit. They die. So, time is going to come when this is over. Even a jail sentence can be served and it is over. And you come back to your freedom.
Sebo.
Banange tusanze okuwuliza.
Ndi mu jamu naye tetumala budde bwaffe. Mikazi bwe kapo. Twagaana okukkiriza ku kintu kimu. Namugamba kube oluyimba nga tuli ffenna. Nga yawagira okuzza emmundu kugombolola.
Nga gw'ogamba ku lunayo ndala.
Nga nze ngamba ku kimayo ndala. Emmundu tezibwa kugombolola. Singa emmundu yazibwa kugombolola. bali gikoze nga sigala. Waliwo abasikaze entundu.
Mzee Tamale
kazibwe kapo kyatukoledde ne mu byobufuzi mulimu ebiwengenekwa
ate byebiriwa
enkyane kivuma Museveni enkyane bakiwa ssente oli ne yekalakala ne mundu n'avuma enkyana najja abatali principal abo
bebiwengemeku
mu byobufuzi mulimu ebiwengenekwa political opportunist enkyabali eno enkyabali luddawa ate ne baddayo ne bakola batya kakati olwo oluyimba lulungi nnyo era ffe Abaganda twogerera mu ngero na mu nnyimba.
Mwami Tamale Mirundi
anjisebo
aba FDC NUP DP bakwataganye boogere ku kino ekyaba MPs n'aba gavumenti z'ebitundu okulonda president.
Anti essaawa bw'ebeera enfu essaawa enfu obudde bwe butuuka we yafiiridde bannamu essaawa enfu nga yafudde ziri ssaawa 3 kano akatambula ne kayimirira bwetuuka ku ssaawa ezo bannamu. Halo
ebo nkuwulira ekyo balwanira bwereere kubanga ono akireeta ayagala debate. The moment you debate on something, you give it credibility. This thing must be dismissed. Those who are pursuing it must be hunted down. And Museveni is the most biggest loser. Ekyo kikutegeeza ki? Kikutegeeza nabagamba ti gavumenti yagoba abanyampi. Abanyampi batugobamu kati bwe befukyefuyira bakinuusa. Kakati the battle is now within the government. They don't talk about the NRM structure because they know they cannot go through take the presidency through NRM structure. How does NRM formulate policies? Through NRM caucus, parliamentary caucus they generate. Bino byabwe waliwo omuntu atasobola kwata power nenga alina obugagga bungi. Kakati oyo atuuse ku mbeera yakwata dda Ssaabalamuzi n'agoba Kadaga n'ateekawo sipiika owuwe n'agenda nga n'awamba ministries zonna n'agoba abantu. Kakati watuuse that is a coup. We should treat it as a coup, an attempted coup. Museveni should get worried. Why? They are rewriting Museveni's legacy. Nabaga nti omwana afaanana ne kitaawe tebamutwala mu DNA. Mu Uganda teri muntu agenda gamba Museveni siri muwagizi wa Museveni. Teri akoledde Museveni ku bwereere nganze. He does not give me anything. But my commitment nti nkimanyi tibwavaawo ate tujja kubonaabona nnyo. Kakati kankubuulire President Museveni yafiirwa. Ono ayagala okuwamba gavumenti. Omusango gwa Organ gwamukwatirayo. Organ case has shaped the succession battle in Uganda. Having reached the Akazu level, wherever all of us were kicked out of government, the Banyampi were kicked out of government. Those who could blame for mistakes. The battle is inside the palace. These are symptoms of the last resort of a battle in the palace. There are two people. Mu byofuzi tuyita bipolar. Waliwo ayagala obuyinza by all costs. Nga yawamba gavumenti ya Museveni n'agizimba mu Sabitufiiti. Gavumenti ya Museveni erimu Kadoma mu Kiswa, erimu ekitambo mu Lubaale. Ate ekitambo kisinga Lubaale amaanyi. Gavumenti ya Museveni omusajja yagisensera. N'atugoba ffenna ne tugenda. Ayagala teeka mwanda weze ffenna tugaana. Kati Katonda atuyamba. Organic case mukwatirayo. Museveni agaana obbayamba. Babadde baagala kuweereza ku Zoom. Museveni n'aliberalize nga wonna. Era wenkubuulirira wano. Baasazeewo not to go to Hague. But the Hague people have decided to put money, a boutte atagenda tumwebaze bwa atagenda $5 million anamukwata namutwala. So this is where they are cornered. Kakati, what is their solution? They are creating a tambo for Museveni. We also control parliament. Tukita simmering. But anikide mu parliament. What if they had the influence in the army? Museveni would be no more. Okay, take the sebo.
Sebo.
This is a coup in a different fashion. They are trying to intimidate Museveni because Museveni threw them to the gallows, ICC gallows. By no kwatibwa. But if they fail, they refuse to go, as they have resolved. I surrendered their tapes to ICC. I surrendered the tapes recently to all embassies. But because they are not strategists, they go to the embassies to ask, is it true that this man has surrendered? Why do you go to a secondary school, a primary school, to inquire whether results have been released when you are not interested in banning the school? What takes you there? You don't have a student, you don't have a pupil in that school. Why do you go to embassies sneaking out whether I have surrendered all the tapes? I surrendered them to teach them a lesson because they are pressurizing me, thinking that dangling money. When they dangle the money, I say, let me teach them a lesson. Tebasasula sente zange zembabanja. Bampa sente mbayambe baleme basiba. Esajja libadde litikomya abakazi ku kyalo ne bajjanga baligo babe yeri kwatidde ne bajjanga bali batula emigo fe tuli kuweka munju. You have humiliated us. ICC, you've committed an external offense where government has no control. You have been thrown into the gallows. Katubayambe mbayambe omanyi kankubuli mukunja.
Yes sir.
Tokkirizanga omuntu akufuula fire brigade.
Kuzikiriza muliro gwe.
Fire brigade kye emotoka esinga obusiru. Teba na mipiira, teba na mafuta, dereva tebamusasula. But when they hear there is a building that has called to fire, where is the driver? Does it have tires? Does it have fuel? That's why police abazinya moto baliddewo okujja kati you cannot turn me into a fire brigade vehicle. And like a vehicle, I have the brave. They wanted me to tango money mbumba yambe ngende ekyankwanzi bambula akameri ngenalinja kujja nabo tebalira byafuna afokoni nali ngenda n'abantu 10 inja di 50 ejogo lyabwe ndi bamalemu. Kakati what you are saying abo bonna be mulaba FDC nani tukita contempt card, where will they go through? Nobody can take a defranchise Ugandans. For article ekugamba no power belongs to the people of Uganda, who will exercise it through elected leaders. Nobody can usurp power in Uganda without being subjected to an election. Look what Kampala Authority. The mayor is elected by universal suffrage. The councillors are elected by universal suffrage. Why? Why don't we say that Kampala is an authority? Let the Minister of Kampala appoint directors like Uganda Revenue Authority because of this provision, unchangeable constitution. This is a fundamental and entrenched provision. But when you hear people like Kafuzi, the Kafuzi is not a lawyer. They are people who masquerade as lawyers. Those who did the law are different, and those who did the raw material and the lawyers.
Byawukanira wa raw material ne law.
Kafuzi yasoma raw material. My son did the law. The 2 of my sons, brilliant lawyers, did the law. Some lawyers did the raw material. Kafuzi did the raw material. He cannot guide the government. How will you go and go to parliament? You need to amend this provision, which is strongly entrenched. It does not go to parliament like 75 years. It does not go to district councils. It needs. Why should I waste time? I compare Kafuzi to a medical doctor who tells me that because your woman will not suffer once we operate her using cesarean, you will not enjoy her for the next 6 months until the the Rukindo recovers. Katika azalire mukamwa. Kafuzi, the Attorney General of Museveni, is telling us that it is possible for a pregnant woman to produce to deliver through the mouth. He did raw material. Kafuzi should be sacked. Anybody who helps Kafuzi's proposal is staring at a madman. Shakespeare said, should we tremble when a madman stares? Where will Kafuzi? There is no provision that once an Attorney General says, this is a fundamental issue. Don't discuss it. Write a contempt card. Let this man who wants to intimidate. Because, why am I saying that Museveni is the biggest loser? Museveni went to the bush to restore democracy. We have been fighting, holding direct elections, including LC1s, including state councillors, under an authority. If Museveni backtracks, who he allows people to rewrite his legacy, it will be up to him, not me. Mine is to alert the population. Don't transfer corpus. Omulambo bwe gufa tebakutwala mu ddwaliro ddala bakutwala mu ggwanika. You cannot change a doctor for corpus in another hospital. Those who are debating are helping Kafuzi to that Kafuzi is injecting a corpus with the new drugs, thinking that he can recover. Can I waste time talking to a medical doctor who reason is Kafuzi? No. Let us spare our important salivas and time to other issues. In fact, whoever debates this issue is helping the likes of Kafuzi who did raw materials instead of law. Have arrived. Ndu sekati.
Kale katwogerera nga bwe tutambula ne wankubadde otuuse mukulu Tamale.
Raw materials. Instead of raw materials.